Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
All right. Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up or maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose? It's totally free of charge. But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. Want to help support my channel? Description box below, very top link, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Once again, thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, down below in there, there's another link. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. We have over 10,200 members in the group, and it is doing simply marvelous, my man. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff in this group down there 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. Up, Juice, what's up, buddy? Well, I'll tell you what, Joe, huh? It's same crap, it's right. The dumpster fire season continues, huh? Can hardly wait. Then we got the Eagles, right? 2 games against the Eagles. Oh, we got the 49ers and oh my goodness, the Broncos who just beat the Eagles. Woo! Oh, end of shit. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up, huh? All right, guys, have a good one. Hey, you said it all. It's amazing, but it's like every time we lose, it's like there was a stat in there. I forgot what it was. They had a couple stats. But it was like somebody they committed like 5 turnovers in a game, right? But the stat didn't even say like turnovers on 5 consecutive drives. What those chances? Let me see if I can find this. This is just like, here. Okay, here. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. According to stats, NFL teams are 206 in the Super Bowl. This is a Super Bowl era. Okay. 206, 1,448 and 13. There was 13 ties. Somehow they ended up coming up with 13 ties in the Super Bowl era. But there's a 126 winning percentage in the Super Bowl era when turning it over 5 times. In the last 10 years, though, now I'm not sure if this includes the Giants game. I'm not sure. It is the teams are 467-1, which is a .063 winning percentage since turning the ball over 5 times. Since the Giants did not force a turnover themselves in this game, the more appropriate stat would be the record for NFL teams when they are -5 in turnover ratio, which is true. Yeah, because you could turn it over 5 times. Let's not forget about Super Bowl, the Blunder Bowl, right? I think there was like 9 turnovers in that game, right? The Colts and the Cowboys. Stays on practice squad. We're only suited at 51. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. We have only have 2 running backs. You could just go on and on and on. But the stat, let's see here. Because you can turn it over 5 times, but you can get 3 turnovers. So you're only -2, which is still not good. But in the last 10 years, no NFL team has won a game when they're -5 in the turnover ratio. 0-29-1. Now, I'm not sure if that includes this game here or not. I'm not sure. Here we go. Giants actually moved the ball fairly well in this game. Yes, they did. Despite only scoring 14 points, they did not have one traditional 3-and-out leading to a punt the entire game. Sign me up for that. And only punted twice, both on possessions where they failed to connect on deep passes that could have been completed. If not for those 2 failed shots down the field, the Giants could have scored 4 times in the first half, unleashed their pass rush, and then put the game away early. Instead, the Saints stayed in the game, and the Giants turned the ball over on 5 consecutive possessions. It was the first time that happened in the NFL, since week 3 of the 2016 season, when Jets quarterback Ryan Fitzpatrick threw 5 straight interceptions against the Chiefs. Now, I remember that game. I remember listening to that game on Sirius. I think the Jets. That wasn't. Hold on. It was week 3. Okay. Well, I remember listening to that game when Fitzpatrick was. I think that was one of the seasons. I think the Jets even had a chance of maybe making a playoffs, and that was a big loss for them. I remember listening to that game on the radio, on Sirius Radio, when he had all those turnovers. I mean, so basically, in the last 10 years, no NFL team has won a game when they were -5 in the turnover. And you look at it, you figure, what we got? Jalen Hyatt, Bo Collins, Dante Banks, pickups. OBJ, hey, yeah. OBJ will catch a pass. I don't think that's his problem. You know what I mean? I think maybe, I guess maybe getting separation or something, but Darius Slayton, oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, I don't know why they didn't elevate little, who's not so little, Jordan Humphrey. They had 5 wide receivers, but one of them was Gunnar Olszewski. Right? So basically, they had kind of like 4 wide. Gunnar can play wide receiver, but whew. Oh yeah, but that one, the Scatterboo one, that was at least, right? You figure a 10-point swing right there, because you figure, if we don't score a touchdown, there's a good chance we kick a field goal there. That gives us 3 points, and if you don't fumble the ball, you take 7 points away from the Saints. So now it's what, 19-17, right? And of course that long touchdown pass was just. It's always something. The drop passes, the turnovers, and just no sacks. It was just. But the only good thing I got from this weekend was that the Eagles actually lost. I was pumped up about that. Yeah. Really didn't put him out active roster for 2 spots available. Yeah. You figure, we're not really blowing them, setting the world on fire with the guys on the inside, our guards. If Evan Neal can't even beat those guys out, what the? The only thing that's going to piss me off is that, because Evan Neal's going to, if they cut him, he'll going to go someplace and he'll probably, like Daniel Jones or Saquon Barkley or Xavier McKinney. Although Saquon's not really, I think he's averaging like 3.2 yards a carry. He's not really doing so well this year. So, Giants have less sacks than they say. They put on the pressure last week, but it seemed like they were trying also, like with the Rattler man, to get the passes out quicker, so he wasn't standing in the pocket for any length of time or whatever. But it's like his first career win. Congratulations, right? But also, what was it? They lost 10 games in a row, I think it was. So I think the Saints, in their last 12 games, I think it is. I think they're 2-10. Of course, both those wins came against the Giants. They beat us. That was the last team that the Saints beat was the Giants last season. Unbelievable. Let's see. Team stat. I know 23 first downs. We were only 3 of 10 on third downs. They were 7 out of 15. They were 1-1 on fourth down. So they were 8 out of between third and fourth downs. They were 8 out of 16. They didn't have a lot of third and longs, though. I mean, a lot of third manageables, and they did a very good job. I mean, our run defense wound up being very good. What was it? We only gave up 2.9 yards per rush. They rushed the ball 30 times, got 88 yards. But we didn't get a sack. Didn't pick a pass off. Right? Didn't get one turnover. Right? I mean, it's unbelievable. It really is. It's just like every time you lose, it's just like Oh, and the Chiefs lost too. that made me feel. That made me feel a little bit better. Oh, what we got here. Yeah. The 87-yard touchdown pass from Rattler to Shaheed. The Saints entered this game. They only had 4 plays of 20-plus yards. That was the 5th, and went for a touchdown. Apparently, I guess Nubin had somebody, obviously, I guess maybe it was Holland, in the middle of the field. Then he lost. They let him get to the outside where he had nobody out there. And the problem is with Nubin, I think he has a groin, and he has this guy who can run like a 4.3. He just ran right past him. I mean, it's just. Whoops. On the ensuing drive after that, the Giants had a chance to squash the comeback. They dialed up a flea flicker, remember, right? On 3rd and short from near midfield. But after Jackson Dart took the pitch back from Cam Scatterbo, the rookie quarterback was unable to connect with Darius Slayton. Good old Butterfinger Slayton. I mean, it just one. I mean, it just gets so disgusting. There's always something. There's always something. When we lost against the Cowboys, we had all those penalties. It's just like every time. So what are we now? 3-14, 4-14. So we're 4-18. If you include last season, we're 4-18. All right, 4-18. So if you include the season before that, 4-18. What that go? 4-18, 10-18, 10-29. We're 10-29. Is that right? Or the past, from 2023, 2024. So actually, we're almost at like a 250 batting average here. And we lose to the Eagles, right? Which is a good possibility. We're going to be 10-30 over the past 2+ seasons. Now, I'm sure he's playing. He'd probably have to cut both his legs off. But if Saquon showed up on the injury list or something, he has I think he has a knee. And who's it, Dickerson? I think he has something as well too. But unless they cut Saquon's legs off, I'm sure he'll be playing in this game. So Giants got a quick turnaround. One nice thing about that is that you got to move on to the next game. Obviously, they do that anyway, but you got the Thursday game coming up. Unfortunately, it's against the Eagles. We got 2 games, and 2 out of our next 3 games, of course, against the Eagles. So the Eagles lost. Yeah, finally. Let's see. I know they lost to the Commanders toward the end of last season, but I think the Eagles started 2-2 last year. And what were they, 14-3? So they were 12-1, 6. They're 16-2 out of the last 18 games. They've won 16. Although they, with the Eagles, I mean, I can't. I can't stand them. Can't stand them. Then have that blocked field goal, run it back for a touchdown to win that game. ABCD Lamb, who gets what, $35 million a year, he dropped like 37 passes against the Eagles. And he caught a lot of passes, and he had over 100 yards, and give him that, but he dropped some passes. Dak put the ball right there. He dropping some passes. I mean, they could have won that game. They got out to a big lead against the Bucs. The Bucs started coming back, and good for the Eagles. They held on, but the Eagles don't seem to be quite as dominant as they were, let's say, last season, right? Now, let's not even forget, right? Was it 2 years ago? The one year they fell apart. Well, they were like 10-1 at one point. I think they were. And they didn't even wind up with 12 wins. And we actually beat them. We beat them good that final game of the season there. We beat them good. Of course, we were out of it. But, we whooped up on them pretty good. So the Eagles don't look quite as good as they did last season. Let's see what we can wind up doing here. But, 2 over the next 3 games against the Eagles. And then we got the Broncos. I think it's the 49ers after that. I mean, you could really see where this season's just right? The one thing is you got to look at too is that Dart had a lot of good moments in there. He also had a couple bad ones that fumble. I mean, rookies, right, make rookie mistakes. He really takes this. Seems like Dart really seems to take this stuff to heart, right? So, hopefully next time he runs with the ball, he's gonna be keeping that in mind about fumbling the ball. Same thing with Scatterbill. I'm sure he's going to be keeping that stuff in mind as well too. But rookies will make some mistakes. Bo Collins, right, on the one interception. Looks like he kind of either stopped running or he tried to cut the route off or something or whatever. And instead of continuing to run, or maybe he could have broke the pass up so it wasn't intercepted. Right? Mistake there. I mean, just goes to show you, though. We're going to be talking about the wide receivers in a little bit. I mean, oh my goodness, the wide receivers is just, wow. We're like, this is just like, whew. It's like Jalen Hyatt, where are you? I mean, holy cow. Bo Collins, wow. This is what we got. Wow, we're in a lot of trouble, boy. And then, of course, the one guy we did bring back, we were kind of counting on, was dropping passes. It's like, man, that's why next season really, really important to get another. I don't know if we'll be able to find another dog like Malik Neighbors, but we got to get another weapon, whatever it is. Whether it's another really threatening tight end or whether another wide receiver or something, we got to get something, really, really, because that just goes to show you. And we got to be interested to see if we can, hopefully we bring Wandale back. We can work out something with him. Let's hope. Right. But it just goes to show you, I mean, with Neighbors not in there, it's like, it's like, wow. I mean, they all say, well, no, next guy stepping up and everything, but it's just like, wow. What a difference. I mean, what an absolute difference. This is just absolutely horrible. And it's just a shame. I mean, us going through this week in and week out, and there's probably a good chance that, after the Eagle game, we'll be coming here saying the same thing. What the? Yeah, what happened? Right? Then they always say, like, there's always, like, what would you say, 3 to 5 plays at the end of every game. You don't know what the plays are going to be. You don't know when they're going to come. You don't know what team they're going to be for or against. But always at the end of the game, for the most part, because a lot of these games are very, we lost by 12 points, but I said you reverse that one play, that's a 10-point swing right there. If Scatterbill holds on to that ball, it's at least a 10-point swing, right? And if it winds up being we wind up scoring, we'll score a touchdown. That's the game right there. You take 7 points away from them, you give us 7 points, we win 21-19 possibly, right? But there's always 3 to 5 plays, right, at the end of every game for the most part, unless somebody wins like 50-3 or something like that, But it's that determines the outcome of the game. And, you could look at here with the Giants. Oh, my goodness, the 5, the drop passes, all the turnovers, right? I mean, you can just go on and on and on, with the Giants. So just, but I mean, right at the top of the list, here, right? The Giants wide receivers, right? Butterfingers Giants are at it, or strike again. Right? I mean, Darius Slayton. Oh my goodness. I mean, dude, come on. I mean, everybody's got to step up. I mean, just wow. I mean, it goes to show you, according to PFF, some of our the lowest graded Giants. Well, actually, the lowest graded ones were I think 3 of them were wide receivers and 2 of them were offensive linemen. But it wasn't Andrew Thomas, I can tell you that much. I think it wasn't a Luminor either. Giants receivers living up to the wrong kind of label after the Week 5 disaster. Life without Malik Neighbors proved to be a factor during Big Blue's loss to the Saints. Yep. Giants, looking to build off their first win of the season against the Chargers, suffered yet another brutal loss. The G-men fell to the previously winless Saints, 26-14, dropping to a dismal 1-4 in the year, and for the second time in 3 seasons. This was certainly a game fans thought the Giants could win. Jackson Dart picked up right where he left off. Giants took an early 14-3 lead, right? 14-3. Here we go, baby. Here we go, right? It's unbelievable after the 14-3. However, things went south for Big Blue quickly as the Saints were able to crawl back into the game, thanks to the Giants' secondary struggling once again. And we're going to talk about the Giants' secondary just a little bit here. And the offense failing to score any points in the second half. It came to a halt with 5 straight drives ending in turnovers, which took points off the board. And if there was any hope that his receiving core would step up in the absence of Malik Neighbors, you better think again. Giants receiving core are the biggest losers after the Week 5 clunker. In an article from Bleacher Report, Brent Sobleski, I think that's how you pronounce it, unsurprisingly named New York's wide receiving group as the biggest losers after their loss to in the Big Easy. He said, with Malik Neighbors out for the season with the torn ACL, the Giants badly need a wide receiver to step up and provide Dart with a go-to target. It didn't happen Sunday. Tight end Daniel Bellinger paced the team in receiving yards, while wide receivers Wando Robinson, Darius Slayton, and Jalen Hyatt combined for 8 catches for 61 yards. And I don't even know why he put Jalen Hyatt in there. Jalen Hyatt didn't even have a catch. It goes without saying that life after Neighbors will be a significant challenge after seeing Daniel Bellinger lead the team in receiving yards on Sunday. From Darius Slayton dropping 2 critical passes as well as fumbling towards the end of the first half, to the Jalen Hyatt experiment continued to an abject failure, to Wando Robinson racking up just 30 yards on 5 catches. They were non-factors all afternoon. With the schedule not getting any easier, a short week against the Eagles on Thursday night, followed by a trip to see the Broncos out in Denver, and another matchup in Philly, right? These receivers need to step up to help Dart and this offense as yet another season for the Giants continues to get ugly. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right, here we go. We got some good stuff here. What to do with the Giants wide receivers now? With the exception of Wando Robinson, who did what he could with the dinks and dunks the Giants sent his way, Giants wide receivers were a horror show on Sunday in a stunningly inept loss to the Saints. Darius Slayton, a veteran wide receiver who has long been a good but not great player, had a miserable day. Slayton had a crucial fumble late in the first half that negated a Giants scoring opportunity and led to 3 Saint points. Slayton failed to come up with a deep pass from Jackson Dart that would have put the Giants in the red zone. They punted, and Spencer Rattler, that was when he hit Rashid Shaheed for an 87-yard New Orleans touchdown. The Slayton play in question was an easy catch, but an NFL wide receiver with 2 hands on the ball and no contact from a defender should catch the football. Yep. You want to get paid, Darius? You want some big money? I mean, he's not making 30, 40 million a year. I get that. But you want to make over, whatever. Want some good money? You catch the ball. Slayton couldn't fight his way back to catch a 50-50 ball on a flea flicker from Dart. Yes, the ball was late. Yes, the ball was underthrown. There was still a chance for Slayton to make a play the Giants needed. He did not. To add injury to insult, Slayton left the game with a hamstring injury. So you don't even know if Slayton's even going to be able to play on Thursday. So what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We're going to have Jalen Hyatt on one side, Bo Collins on the other side, Wan'Dale Robinson in the middle against the defending Super Bowl champions who have a pretty good secondary. Wow. Well, also the Giants did quite a bit. Did wind up putting a lot of two tight end sets on the field. So I mean, Bellinger and Theo got a lot of playing time together, which helps. I mean, the Giants a lot of time only had two wideouts on the field. So I mean, that's, who knows? Maybe they're going to go with, I don't know. Maybe they'll have a 3 tight end set and they'll just put Wan'Dale Robinson out there. If Slayton, that's the problem with the hamstring. That's tricky. That's some tricky stuff. You could feel okay, and then you start running, and boom, you pull it. You make it even worse than it is now. You go from maybe a week, 2 week or so to, you could be out a month with that freaking hamstring. And could you imagine if we lose Slayton and we lost Malik Neighbors? You imagine losing those guys for any length of time? Holy cow. Jalen Hyatt played 34 snaps. He did not catch a pass. The Giants ignored him on offense until desperation time in the fourth, when he was targeted 3 times, resulting in an interception and 2 long, futile deep throws he could not make plays on. Hyatt is averaging a minuscule 0.9 yards of separation per next-gen stats. So 0.9 yards, that's about 3.5. So he's averaging like about 32 inches of separation, which is whatever. About that. I mean, that's not much separation. Bo Collins played 28 snaps. He caught 1 pass and 3 targets for 7 yards. He had 2 hands on a 3rd and 3 pass that fell incomplete. He also caused an interception by stopping on a route while Dart threw the ball where he expected Collins to go. Similar miscommunications involving Collins led to a pair of interceptions in the preseason. The rookie undrafted free agent isn't a reliable option at this point. He also had a holding penalty. It is clear they don't trust Hyatt and can't trust Collins. Well, let's hope they elevate little Jordan Humphrey, who's not so little. That would be great. Below, look at the negative expected points added numbers from Next Gen Stats for the wide receivers on Sunday. EP, added EPA. Bo Collins minus 2.5. Yeah. Wow. Okay, let me share my screen here. Oh, let me just share my screen here. Share screen. All right. Is it at the top? Okay, here we go. So, all right. So now this here, look at the negative expected points added numbers from the Next Gen Stats for the wide receivers on Sunday. So if we look here, right? Okay. Daniel Bellinger, all right, was a plus 1.32. Kale, right? Scatterbill. Plus 0.10. Theo, right? Another tight end, plus 0.3. Darius Slayton, minus 1.10. Wan'Dale Robinson, minus 0.61. Bo Collins, minus 0.205. Devin Singletary. Chris Manhurst was a 0, right? He only ran 1 route. Then Jalen Hyatt, minus 0.59. I mean, what do the Giants do now? Truthfully, they don't have a lot of good options. they can start by doing something they should have done prior to Sunday's game against the Saints. Signing little Jordan Humphrey to the active roster off their practice squad. Elevate the guy. Give the man a jersey. Let him play. Let's see what he's got. It was surprising that with 2 open spots on the 53-man roster after putting Neighbors on IR and waiving Tolman Fox, who they brought back for the 317th time, and he's on the practice squad, that the Giants did not add Humphrey to the roster prior to Sunday. And it's the same, kind of was the same thing. It's like, it was a little, while they went into the game with just 2 wide receivers, I guess they were also, they had Wan'Dale Robinson in the backfield. So I guess he was going to be the third option as far as a running back, I guess. They don't have a lot of salary cap space. Matter of fact, according to Over the Cap, they have the least amount of salary, like a little over $1 million. So you're not sure here, because every time you elevate somebody, or if you got to bring somebody up from the practice squad and assign them to the 53-man roster, that takes money off out of your salary cap. So the Giants don't have much left. So somewhere along the line, Shane has got to reconstruction on somebody's salary or contract. And now, thankfully, obviously we have some big enough guys, big enough salaries, okay, that we can do that with. So who's he going to reconstruct? Yeah, well, I'll have to wait and see. But, we're only in week 5. We got a long way to go. He's going to have to do something with somebody's salary. Now, the thing is that what's he going to do? Right? This is this is where it gets a little tricky, right? What's Shane going to do? Is he going to go and reconfigure somebody's salary, get whatever, free up $6, $5, $6, $7 million, whatever it might wind up being? So now we have enough to get through the rest of the season. And then what's he going to do with that money? Is he going to go into panic mode? Oh, to be competitive for the rest of the season, let's go out and get OBJ. He'll put some fans in the stands. He'll put some rear ends in the stands. He'll get a little bit of excitement going. Let's go out and let's bring in at least one big-time free agent. Not that OBJ is going to get a lot of money, but, is he going to go do that? And he's going to spend couple million dollars on somebody who's only going to be here for 1 year, and then he won't be here the next year. Is the season getting teetering to the point where it's almost over? I mean, because you can easily see, I don't want to be negative Nancy here, but you can easily see, right, out of these next 3 games, I'm just trying to be, right, just level-headed here. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid, just level-headed. You can easily see where we lose 2 out of these next 3 games. Just try to be fair here. So we're 2-6. Okay. I mean, and I think we got the 49ers to play, who are not too bad a team either. You can easily see where we could be 2-7. Right? I mean, the thing is that, what is Shane going to do? Go out, go to Gurley World and spend some money, maybe make a big-time trade, bring a wide receiver in here or something like that to try to hopefully, I don't even know if you can even say save the season, but to get some excitement going, to get another weapon in here. Would that be enough to save his job? Would that be enough to save Dable's job? You know what I mean? So it's you want to spend some money on somebody who's not going to help you next year. You want to spend some money on somebody who's going to come in who maybe help you, but not maybe help you win some more football games. It's a tricky situation, very, very tricky situation. But I mean, as you can see here against the Saints, my goodness, I mean, it's just like Bo Collins and and Hyatt, and now that Slayton's got a hamstring. Wow, man, those Eagles are just licking their chops, man. They got blood in the water, baby. The Eagles looking at, we're going to beat the Giants. What is it? Supposed to be the 75th time in a row? I mean, we did beat them a couple of years ago, but I mean, you have a hard time beating the Eagles. Humphrey is not a game changer. He is, though. Little. He's not so little. 6'4", 225-pound player with 62 career catches, 31 of those last season for the Broncos. He's a big body who can help in the red zone and contested catch situations, and he's enough experience that Dart should be able to trust him to be where he's expected to be. So let's not forget, I mean, that was preseason. That was not against a starting group. That was backups. But in the preseason, right, Dart's first ever touchdown pass was to little Jordan Humphrey. Right? Nice pass. Nice catch. But that was against backups. Right? The only real reason for not adding Humphrey to the roster is that reality the Giants have just a league worst $1.6 million in cap space entering the game, and felt the need to save money was more important than helping the roster. I mean, we can't, is that? Well, we want to save some money, so we don't actually go out and help the roster. Yeah. So it's going to be very interesting to see, quite possibly, obviously, not if, but when Shane restructures somebody's contract. I mean, because, because if Slayton's going to be out for any length of time, wow. You can see where this could really get bad, really ugly. Yeah, I mean, if we get Slayton back, we don't want to add something, at least to the roster as far as wide receivers. You can see where this could go. I mean, we'd almost be looking at last season and wishing last season was here. I mean, it's going to be this bad. I mean, wow. What else can the Giants do? Again, probably not a lot. They worked out 4 wide receivers on Friday. One of them, Samori Toure, signed on Monday with the Broncos. Okay. Isaiah Hodgins, who's on the practice squad. He caught 33 passes for the Giants in 8 games in 2022 before getting buried on the depth chart below even Hyatt the past 2 seasons. He's on the Steelers practice squad. Hodgins knows the offense. Yes, he does. And can at least properly run routes and catch the ball when it's thrown to him. Yeah. Honestly, it remains difficult to understand why he so quickly fell out of favor while with the Giants. I mean, you can't even talk sometimes. It's like Daniel Jones. I'm not saying he was Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying he's Jesus Christ, nothing like that. But he just fell out. It's like, hey, look what he's doing with the Colts. I mean, Saquon Barkley. Although I'm not sure what's going on with Saquon this year. I'm not sure if he's starting to, because he's only 5 games in. He's averaging 3.2 yards a carry. He's got a fantastic offensive line, right? And the thing is, and he's got Jalen Hurts, who's a fantastic runner. That's supposed to, one's supposed to help the other, but he's averaging 3.2 yards a carry. I mean, something's wrong there. I mean, he's either got something hurting him or something that he's not talking about or what. But I mean, maybe he just hit the wall last year when he had all those carries. I mean, he's had over 2,000. He's had about 2,000 touches. So maybe he's hit that wall. I don't know. He had a lot of touches last year. Because you figure, right? He went all the way to the Super Bowl. So he played a lot of games last year. So, but Gabe Davis, who had success with the Bills, and while Brian Dable was the team's offensive coordinator, is currently on the Bills practice squad. Davis, 6'2", 225 pounds, a 26-year-old, has 183 career catches for an average of 16.2 yards per reception. I mean, they got some. They do have some options out there, right? Not sure what they're going to do, but it's amazing though. It's like Isaiah Hodgins. I mean, we kind of brought him in 2022. We started really. It's like, man, this guy's catching some passes. It's like, all right, here we go, baby. Yeah, and that the playoff win we had against the Vikings. He had a very good game, and then all of a sudden, it's like at the next season, it's like, where's Isaiah Hodgins at? Is he somebody? Is he alive? I mean, what's going on? It's like, How come he did so good there? You just can't get him. It makes you really wonder, these guys leave here and they go someplace else and they really do good. Is it the players or is it the coaches or the coaching or the coach? Who is it? Right? Oh, we got next here. Okay. Yeah. All right. So we got here. Now with the wide receivers, it's bad though when your wide receivers all grade lower than 54, and when your most prolific receiver has 31 yards on the day. I know it was 30 or 30. Maybe it was Slayton had the 31. Who had the? Because I thought Wan'Dale Robinson had 30. Who had a receiver? Oh, Slayton. Okay, Slayton had 31. Wan'Dale had 30. Okay. That's what the Giants are facing now. So they have two main wide receivers. I mean, we're not talking about, the greatest defense of all time. I mean, the Saints, Wan'Dale had 30 yards receiving, Slayton had 31. Now, of course, Slayton, with the Butterfingers could have added to that, that's for sure. As usual, the starting quarterback and offensive lines played every snap, right? But Theo Johnson played 60 of 73 snaps, while Bellinger and Chris Manhertz combined for 46. Giants played 12 personnel, one running back, two tight ends, and a little bit of 13 personnel, a little bit over half the time. So that a lot of times they had one running back and three tight ends, about like a little over half the time. So they had a lot of heavy tight ends. So thankfully the tight ends, knock on wood, are healthy. Okay. It would probably have been more if they had held the early lead, which is true. If they kept the early lead, they could have dictated what they wanted to do. You put Chris Manhertz in there, who's basically another offensive lineman. You put, keep another tight end in there so they can either run out of that or they can pass out of that. Right? Wan'Dale Robinson played almost every snap, and Darius Slayton most or all of them until his hamstring injury. Jalen Hyatt and Bo Collins saw considerable action to no discernible positive effect. So, all right, let's see here. Where are we at here? Nope. Where are we at here? Where the heck is the? Maybe I want to pass it on. I just want to read off the. Here we go. Okay, so I believe for the game, Devin Singletary graded out of 58. Darius Slayton graded out of 38 for the game. Let's see what we got here. Bo Collins graded out of 40. Wan'Dale Robinson graded out of 53.6. Jalen Hyatt graded out of 51.2. So we had four wide receivers, and not one of them graded over a 54. I mean, that's pretty pathetic. That's really pretty pathetic. Bellinger graded out at the bat. He was a 77.8. Cam Scatterbo, 64.6. Now, of course, if he didn't have that fumble, I'm sure his grade. He graded a fumble. He graded 25.5. So that brought him down. I'm sure if he didn't fumble that one time, I'm sure he probably would have graded out maybe at a 70, if not higher. He would have had another great game, but it is what it is. Theo Johnson graded at 62.5. Right. So I mean, just brutal. I mean, they said if we don't have Slayton, then we'll have kind of like one guy who can take the top off the defense, but we don't really trust the guy. So a lot of trouble. And then the one problem is that, especially if you don't have Hyatt on the field, the defenses can start, creeping up a little bit, right? Because if you got Wando, sorry, you got wish we did, neighbors outside, okay, and he's just one-on-one, and they don't have a safety over top, right? You're throwing it, if it's one-on-one, you're just throwing it to him, right? But you said that you have Slayton on the other side. Just him being there can take the top off the defense, right? So, they all got to stay back, like what the Chargers did. They played whatever. They're like, well, you can do whatever you want underneath. You're not getting behind us. That's not happening. You're not catching nothing deep. That's not going on. If you want, good luck, God bless, but that's not happening, right? But if you ain't got nobody, if you're just dinking and dunking and right, you don't have nobody can take the top off the defense. I mean, if Hyatt's not in there, it's like you can just start moving up a little bit, right? And then that starts hurting your run game, right? Or if they really don't have anybody to scare you, right? They can just play like maybe one deep safety, man coverage across the board, right? Somebody comes off the line or just, for the first 5 yards or getting into them, hitting them, right? Not trying to knock them off their route or something like that, playing man coverage and see if they get any type of separation. But then they can load the box up and stop the run. Then we're really screwed. I mean, man, and this is only week 5. Oh my goodness! But as well, obviously there's the bad. Let's talk about a little bit of good here. A little bit of good, right? The tight ends actually stepped up versus Saints. Now, actually, Jackson Dart has 3 touchdown passes right now. All the Theo got a little something going on there. That's good, very very good. Okay, let's not forget. Between Theo and Bellinger, they had 10 receptions. It's very, very good, right? They're going to need something like that against the Eagles. Yeah, because, the Eagles have a very good secondary. Very good secondary. All right. So we got the Giants, right, leaning much heavier on the tight ends without Malik Neighbors. Now, that might be quite a possibility. Same thing here against the Eagles. We'll have to wait and see, right? Can the Giants play with 3 tight ends on every play? How about 4? Wow, could you imagine that? 4? In the first game without Malik Neighbors, the Giants revamped their offense to give them more snaps to back up tight end Daniel Bellinger than either of the receivers, Jalen Hyatt and Bo Collins. Now, Daniel Bellinger had 38 snaps, Jalen Hyatt had 34 snaps, and Bo Collins had 28. So Daniel Bellinger, the backup tight end, had more snaps than either Hyatt or Bo Collins. About half of their 73 offensive snaps in the loss to the Saints were with both Bellinger and Johnson on the field. I thought the distribution, whether you want to call them tight ends or receivers, doesn't really matter to me, was pretty even across the board, head coach Brian Dable said. Those young guys are going to have to do a good job of making sure that they're on top of their things, which I know they work hard to do. Based on personnel groups and what we want to use, it could be more, could be less, but they all have to be ready to go. Considering Hyatt and Collins were both targets that didn't make great plays to prevent Dart's interception, it is possible the Giants could remain in more heavy formations. Receiver Darius Slayton's hamstring injury could further force their hand Thursday against the Eagles, unless returner Gunnar Olszewski is given a shot or little Jordan Humphrey is elevated from the practice squad. I have a lot of confidence in our receiving group, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka said. We have some opportunities, just didn't capitalize on them. Well, that's true. There was opportunities there. Giants had some success in 2022, adding players off of other teams and getting quick results. One of them was Isaiah Hodgins, who was on the Steelers practice squad. Giants and Eagles were required to reveal injury reports Monday, despite neither team practicing ahead of Thursday's practice. Most notably, Saquon Barkley with the knee would not have practiced for the Eagles as he prepares to face his former team. For the Giants, Darius Slayton, Jermaine Illuminor has a back. Swaze Bozeman has an ankle. Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, once again, would have sat out. He's been out. So Dart has a hamstring. Belton has a shoulder. Javon Holland has a calf. Tyler Newbern has a groin. All our safeties are all banged up. Drew Phillips has a hip. Tyrone Tracy Jr. has a shoulder. They would have been limited. We got here. So Bellinger had 4 receptions for 52 yards, 13 yards of reception. He had 4 targets went his way. He caught all 4 passes. Theo Johnson had 7 targets go his way. He caught 6 of them for 33 yards. That was only 5.5 yards of reception, but he did have the 2 touchdowns, right? So between Theo Johnson and Bellinger, they caught 10 passes for, 85 yards, 2 touchdowns, 8.5 yards of reception. So they caught 10 passes out of 11 targets. Right? Chris Manhurst, did he have anything? I think he didn't have no targets. He was on the field, but he didn't. Basically, most of the time when he's on the field, most of the time he's in there to block. He did have a touchdown last year. Let's not forget about that. Okay. But, let me show you what we got here. Yeah, let me show you the Giants offense here. They're, let's see here. Yeah, their offensive grades. Here we go. All right. Now, once again, Andrew Thomas, 89.9. The dude is just a freaking beast. So, and it's such a shame because, if he can stay healthy and all this stuff and everything, if not the greatest, one of the greatest left tackles we've ever had in 101st season, right? Ever. You can go back to Brown, right? We drafted him in 53. Hall of Famer, probably the best. But, Andrew Thomas, it's a shame we're wasting this guy's career. Same thing with Sexy Dexy. We're wasting his career. Just trash teams. Trash. Yeah, just horrible. Absolutely horrible. But Andrew Thomas graded out almost a 90. Once again, he didn't. I don't think he allowed a pressure. Nothing. He hasn't allowed. I don't think he's allowed a pressure yet this year. He's just been dominant. 2.5 games. Phenomenal. John Michael Schmitz had a good game. 78.2. Right. But Daniel Bellinger, see here, 77.8. Then we got Theo Johnson, 62.5. Great. So the tight ends did pretty well. They did pretty well. Where's Manhurst at? Oh, Manhurst. He was 8 snaps. He graded 62.9. But you'll look here, Manhurst, right? His pass blocking. He's in there for pass blocking, right? 73.6. His run blocking was a 59.1. But look at Andrew Thomas, run blocking, 91.8. His pass blocking, 80.3. Just phenomenal game. But if you look down here at the bottom, right? One of the big problems we had, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So out of the bottom 6 guys, okay, as far as score, according to PFF, that's all it says, right? 4 of the worst 6, right, on offense were wide receivers in this game. Nobody stepped up. Nobody on the offensive side. I'm certainly not saying, the Saints have absolutely horrible, just total trash secondary. But we did have some chances. We did have some plays. We just fumbled the ball away, right? Dropped the pass or 2, right? So, but it almost seems like it's after almost like every loss. It's like, well, this and this and this and this would have changed or whatever, we might have won the game. I said, you figure that one scat of, well, let me see here. Let's go to. You can easily look at play by play. Okay, so let's go here. Fumble, field goal. Okay, where are we? Fumble. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. So we got down All right, so let's see here. Okay. Okay, so we had one up with a 7-yard pass. We wound up with a 3-yard pass. Dart, short left to Theo Johnson to the Saints 12-yard line. 3 yards to the, I believe I get it. So it wound up, it was 2nd and 7 going into the fourth quarter. 2nd and 7. And 15 minutes to go left in the game. 2nd and 7 at the 12-yard line. Okay. Scatterboo up the middle for -1 yards. He got hit basically at the line of scrimmage, fumbled the ball at the 13, because one of the problems is that with a lot of times, our run blocking is that you turn around and hand the ball to Scatterboo. He gets the ball and he looks around. It's like there's like 13 guys in our backfield. Why is there like 13 guys in our backfield? Do we have an offensive? Did we have the offensive line coach? Is there offensive line? Were they on the field? What's? I mean, it happens. It's like he gets the ball. And poof! It's like, is there ever a hole? I mean, just imagine we actually gave the dude a hole, right? But well, let me share my screen here. Share screen. Share screen. All right, here we go. Okay. Now, there's one play here. One play. Possibly. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, right? Crying over spilled milk, but possibly. Okay. So, on the last play of the fourth quarter, sorry, I got to move my legs. My dog is laying at my feet here. I got to move my legs. So the last play, okay, of the third quarter, as we all remember, I mean, we were watching the game. It was 1st and 10 at the 15. Dart hit Theo Johnson with a 3-yard pass down to the 12-yard line as the third quarter ended. To open up the fourth stanza, right? We were 2nd down and 7 at the Saints 12-yard line. Dart turns around, hands the ball to Scatterboo up the middle for -1 yards, because as he turned the ball around, there's 75 guys in the backfield hitting Scatter, because for whatever reason we can't run block and keep people out of the backfield. I have no idea why. He gets hit at the 13-yard line, fumbles the ball. Recovered by Howden at the 14, runs it back 86 yards for a touchdown. Now, so he gets hit at the -1. I mean, he might have got back to the line of scrimmage or something like that. So if he didn't fumble the ball, let's just say it winds up being, say 3rd and 7. Say he doesn't gain any yards. He gets hit in the backfield, he falls forward or whatever. So he'd say it's 3rd and 7. Okay. So, there's a possibility. I'm not saying, would have happened, but there's a possibility, right? Maybe we complete the pass on 3rd down. We get a 1st down. We'd have to get down to the 5. I mean, that's possible. Maybe we complete it and get 6 yards. We get down to the 6. Maybe Dable's a little gambling mood or whatever, since he's down in Nolans, right? And he decides to go for it. Maybe we get it, whatever. But I'm just saying that, that wasn't 3rd down. It wasn't like Scatterboo fumbled the ball, and if he didn't pick up the 1st down, it was 3rd down. We were going to have to kick a field goal. No, that was 2nd down. We still had another down to go. We were moving down the field, right? Once again, we were moving down the field. The only thing basically stopping us was ourselves. We kept shooting ourselves in the foot. It wasn't the Saints. It was us. So on 3rd down, we pick up a 1st down. Now we're going to say the 5-yard line's 1st and goal at the 5. Theo caught a couple of short touchdown passes. Maybe he catches it. Who knows? But that one play was probably at least a 10-point swing, if not a 14-point swing. If we go and score a touchdown, you give us 7 points more. Now we got 21. You take 7 points off of them because they're not running a fumble back for a touchdown. Now they got 19. It's 21-19. That one play. Unbelievable. So, but it was good to see at least the tight end stepped up. But one of the things is going to be, obviously, you can only keep this stuff up for so long, because then all the other teams start seeing, because when we had Malik on the field, right, we couldn't put 13 tight ends on the field, because you got Malik out there, right? So now all this stuff's all going to start being on tape. All the other defensive coordinators are going to start saying this, and they're, okay, good, yeah, all right, hey, put 3 tight ends on the 2 tight ends, okay, we got you. You know what I mean? Your wide receivers suck, okay. It might even be where they don't even cover him. Let him go out there by himself. We don't care. They ain't catching a pen, you know what I mean? So, all right. And next year, this one here is like, where's the ROI? Where's the return on investment? Huh? I mean, Phillips is doing really good. Flott's playing pretty good. Okay. Just, Howland, Debo, especially you figure Debo coming from the Saints. Man, he'd be foaming at the mouth to get back at his, he's got Spencer Rattler throwing the ball. He's covering a wide receiver, and he got Spencer Rattler throwing the ball. Oh, man, he's like, man, I got at least 2 interceptions in this game. Yeah. I'm saying so much this game. It's like, where's, we just went out and spent, like $30 million a year for a safety and a cornerback. It's like, what's going on? Second round pick on Newman. Now, of course, all our safeties are all banged up, but second round pick on Newman. Phillips is doing very good, though. We got first round pick on Banks. We brought Holland in. We brought Debo in. Not getting return on investment from those guys. Absolutely not. And that was one of the things with the Debo. He's supposed to be, hands-on. He's supposed to be a, interception guy. Giants not getting nearly enough from the big investments in the secondary. Here is some simple addition. The Giants invest $99 million in 2 free agents plus high draft picks and 4 youngsters to build a premier secondary. Yep, first round, a second round, a third round, and 4th round. Right? Banks is the first round, Newman's second round, Phillips third round, Flott's the 4th round. Belton was a 5th round? Is he a 5th rounder? And then we bring in a Debo and Holland too. Got some premium picks. It's the more complex math, like the geometry involved in identifying correct tackling angles and the calculus formulas for substitution patterns, that is creating headaches as the Giants struggle to get a return on investment from the back end of their defense. I feel like we play some of the hardest positions on the field, safety Tyler Nubin said. When you make a mistake, it's a touchdown. As he found out. Right, as he found out against the Saints, make a mistake, take a wrong angle, right? Get the, where you have help from. Right, he knows he has help here. Get the guy over to where you got the help. Don't get burned, to the outside. We have no help, or don't let the guy get past you. He runs at 4.3. You want to run at 4.5. Once he gets past you, he's gone. You're never going to touch him, right? Just when you make a mistake, it's a touchdown. Yep, you got that right, Newman. Or they are moving the ball quite a good amount. We have to be better. We can be better on first and second down so we can put them in disadvantageous positions so that we can go eat. Newman lost leverage and he bit on a double move that allowed speedster Rashid Shaheed to get deep for an 87-yard touchdown in Sunday's loss to the Saints. It was reminiscent of Newman chasing after the ball on a long touchdown run by the Cowboys when he filled the wrong gap, and Chargers when he was slow to the edge earlier this season. We're working through some things, doing our best to teach them these techniques, these fundamentals, defensive coordinator Shane Bowen said, and hopefully we can work out the kinks and become a little bit more consistent and not have those plays that put us in harm's way. When the Giants are in the right position, flags are flying, which is true. Right? Drew Phillips, who leads the NFL with 8 passes defended, including 2 interceptions, offers a give and take as the league's most penalized defensive player. Rotational cornerback Deontay Banks, who quickly gets targeted whenever he checks in for a starter. Cordell Flott on third down is amongst the most flagged players per snap. He gets 4 flags on 100 compared to Phillips' 6 on 275. So basically, 1 out of every 25 snaps that Banks is on the field, he gets flagged. So you figure you would look at something like that. The other team, say, has a good game and have, say, 70. What did the Saints have? How many plays did they have yesterday? They didn't have. They didn't have 75 snaps, but the Cowboys did against the Giants. Let's see our team stats. How many? The Saints only had like 60 snaps, 62. They had 62 total plays. Okay, so you figure if Banks was in there for 60, if he was in there for all 62 snaps, he would have been flagged at least 2 times yesterday. Or if he played every down against the Cowboys, he would have been flagged 3 times. Penalty yardage isn't even accounted for in the 237.2 passing yards allowed per game, which ranked 25th in the NFL. If the coverage fails, the vaunted pass rush will be neutralized by quick throws, which is what the Rattle man was doing. They were just trying to get the ball out of his hands fast. Right? We have to eliminate the penalties. The grabbing, Bowen said, whether we're slipping or not, we have to do a good job not coming into contact with those guys on those underthrown tip passes. I think these guys are actually in decent position as we're going in, and then just as it keeps getting extended, the panic sets in a little bit. We have to be able to find some comfort when we're on body and be able to locate the football and not foul. Quarterback Paulson Adebo signed a 3-year, $54 million deal, and Jordan Howden, 3 years, $45 million, haven't yet made the major difference expected during free agency. They have a combined 6 passes defensed. Howden had an interception negated Sunday by Banks' pass interference, while allowing 30 catches for 333 yards and a touchdown, according to Pro Football Focus. Newman has 1 pass defense on 1,144 career snaps. I mean, that's horrible. That's horrible. 1 pass defense. They've been competitive, head coach Brian Dable said. We gave up that 1 big play, which we'd like to have back. I thought they did a good job of hanging in there when we turned the ball over 5 times to give the Saints opportunity after opportunity. The biggest head scratcher in the secondary continues to be the rotation between Flott and Banks, despite Flott outplaying Banks at every stage of the competition. One conspiracy theory is that the front office is exerting influence to get Banks on the field so as not to zero out another first-round pick after busted offensive tackle Evan Neal. But that hasn't happened. Simultaneously with the 2023 third-round pick, Jalen Hyatt on offense, and Flott is a former third-round pick whose development also matters. These players earn what they get when they get here. That's how it is. That's how it's been, Bowen said. As a staff, it's something we discuss day in and day out. It's about finding the guys that we can put us in the best position to win. Bowen revisits the rotation week after week in and week out, and Banks played a season-low 8 defensive snaps against the Saints, so maybe he is on his way out. One plausible explanation for sticking with it this long is that lightening Flott's workload helps to keep him fresh after a history of hamstring injuries. He's small, he's light, he's got a thin frame, and he's susceptible to injuries. So that's possible. But the thing is, it's like as soon as you put Banks on the field, they just go right after him. Tay, when he's able to get his hands on a guy and challenge guys, he's been able to be tight, Bowen said. I think that plays into it a little bit as well, too. I think Flott has done a really good job. Flott has developed immensely here this offseason. He's earned the right to play as well. I think both those guys, with how they've worked, there's been improvement. The Giants just need a lot more improvement quickly. It's like one of those things. It's like, we brought, Newman had a very good season last season, then he got injured, right? You were kind of hoping he'd build off of that. Now, you're not sure, because he's got a groin. You're not sure how much that's affected him, right? But if he's got anything going on with a leg, a hamstring, a calf, a bone, anything at all, and you run a 4.5 and you're trying to keep up with somebody who can run a 4.3, you got a groin, you got good luck and God bless to you. Right? You got some problems there, right? So we're kind of hoping that maybe Newman would take a step up this season. I said, we brought in Holland, right? We brought in Adebo, and you were really kind of hoping, to get, something out of him, But I mean, so far the return on investment from the money that almost $100 million, I guess, for those two guys, it's not panning out. Not panning out at all. So this upcoming draft is going to be interesting to see. Do we bring Flott? Hopefully we re-sign Flott and get him back in here. Do we add anybody else to the secondary? If we do, are they a low pick or are they just somebody we're going to be adding some depth for? We'll have to wait and see. But so far, the secondary has been very disappointing. I mean, some nice flashes in the past. Phillips has done very well, and so has Flott. But other than that, it's been very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. Because you thought that nice secondary, right? We got a Karake and McFadden as the inside linebackers, off-ball linebackers, middle line, whatever you want to call them. And I said that defensive front, you thought we were, going to be a really, really special defense, but has not panned out that way. And finally, speaking of the defense, right? I mean, he's starting to creep. He's creeping up here a bit, right? I mean, I think was it week 1? He didn't play at all. Yeah, he didn't play at all week 1. Right, he didn't even get a suit, right? But he's starting to creep up a little bit, right? He's there's an article I'm going to read over. And I'll show you. There's a couple of videos in there. Of course, they're showing his highlights, of course. But, you can start seeing where, he's, starting to make a little bit of he's picking up some steam, right? And hopefully if he keeps working at his craft, getting stronger, right? Learning from the Godfather and everything like that, if he can keep going like this, I'm not saying we got another Dexter Lawrence or somebody phenomenal, but, we might have ourselves a keeper here with Alexander. So that's good. That's really, really good. Right? Possibly one of the reasons I said we did a very good job yesterday controlling their run game. Very good job. That was one of the bright spots. Right? They ran the ball a lot, and they only averaged was like 2.5. What the heck did they average? All right, rushing yards, 2.9 yards a carry. I mean, awesome. So struggling Giants rookie is starting to show signs of dominance with quietly impactful performance versus the Saints. Yeah, I mean, one of them, he got in there so fast he forced Rattler to throw the ball right. I mean, that's why I mean a lot of it's like these guys. It's like they get the ball, and I don't want to say that I'm not taking a sack. So as soon as somebody's about to sack, I'm just throwing the ball. I mean, that some guys do that, right? But I mean, this year is from AZ Sports, right? So if you look, they have a couple videos here as you scroll down the article. It shows, what type of an impact, in a few of the plays that Darius Alexander had on this game. Starting to show some signs of, right. And the nice thing about it is that, as he gets better, right. He gets better and better. He's going to play more and more, right. During the preseason, Giants rookie defenseman Darius Alexander was struggling significantly. The 2025 third-round pick wasn't winning reps in preseason games against primarily backups, which started to generate concern from the fan base. Fast forward to Week 5 of the NFL season, when star nose tackle Dexter Lawrence had to play a more limited role due to illness. unfortunately, Alexander was asked to step it up, and he took full advantage of it with 1 tackle and 2 quarterback pressures on 24 snaps. Giants defensive coordinator Shane Bowen lauded the rookie for continuing the grind. I think for anybody, not being out there is probably the best motivator that we have, Bowen told reporters. To his credit, he has worked his butt off, and we've seen it in practice week in and week out, the development, the growth, using his skill set, using his length. Got a lot of trust in him right now with how he's playing. Darius Alexander steps up against the Saints. Alexander's stat line doesn't exactly scream dominance. No, it doesn't, but the tape and advanced metrics tell a different story. Per Pro Football Focus, Darius Alexander was causing headaches for the Saints' offensive line based on the 12.5% pass rush win rate he registered, which is pretty good. Alexander also led the Giants in stop rate at 12.5%, which measures the percentage of tackles that result in failed plays for the offense. Darius Alexander ranks 3rd among rookie interior defensive linemen in pass rush win rate on the season with 12.3%. So he ranks 3rd amongst interior defensive linemen, rookie. 3rd among rookie. And we took him in the 3rd round. On Monday, Bowen emphasized he doesn't believe his first solid game was just a singular occurrence. He thinks it's a sign of gradual improvement by Alexander. He's been doing it consistently. It hasn't been a flash in the pan, one-time thing, Bowen told the media. So like the trajectory he's going, credit to him. He's worked and he's overcame where he was early on in the year, and he's taken strides, and I think he's improving every week. When we take a look at the film, Alexander's success is evident. The version of him that dominated at the Senior Bowl and at Toledo is starting to reemerge. In the first play from below, Alexander wins with length and leverage to get underneath Saints guard Trevor Penning. His rapid get-off puts Penning on skates as he struggles to hold off Alexander's churning leg drive. All right, so let me see if I can share here. Share my screen. There's a couple videos here. It just goes to show, up here. Okay, yep. All right, so let me show you. All right, show you right here. Okay. So obviously we got the circle here on number 91, right? Darius Alexander. Darius Alexander is coming into his own. So let's get to play. Right? Bam! Right? Boom. But, the thing was, of course, on that one, of course, is that, there was the, it was the interception, right? Thanks to the pressure from Alexander. But, of course, with Banks, the interference wiped that out. Once again, just another one of the 352 trillion things that went against the Giants yesterday that could have been huge. Because we would have had the ball around, the 42-yard line. 43-yard line, we would have been in good shape, possibly to kick a field goal or something like that. But because of the penalty, we got screwed, right? But you see, right? Now Penning, he's right. I mean, Penning's a good offensive lineman. Push him back, gets him in the pot right here. I mean, and now. I guess Rattler was probably, he was looking that way, right? I guess he, had intention upon throwing it, but just as he, right, throws the ball, Alexander's right there, right? So, but this is what guys got to do, right? You got one-on-one here, one-on-one here. You got that Carter being double-teamed there, but, somebody's got to win. One guy getting double-teamed, okay? So it might be a little difficult for Carter to win, but, I mean, these other guys, they got to win. Yeah, somebody's got to win. And on this one, it was Alexander. All right, so we go down here. In this next play, Alexander completely overwhelms Simpkins, who is off to a promising start of the 2025 season. Once again, he uses long arms to create extension on a blocker who has less length than him. Alexander's upper body strength is so overwhelming that he's able to fend off Simpkins with one arm. As he's able to clear the block, Alexander does a tremendous job of not hesitating and locating the football to smother Spencer Rattler. Now, this was the design run, but you go also, it might have been some type of, you go, it was a sack, but it looked like he was going to run on this one there. Okay, the quarterback draw, right? So we got Alexander over here, okay? Right, so he pushed him off here, right? And then you got Kamara coming up in here, right? Right, trying to chip on him. Didn't do a good job of chipping on him, and he drops him for a loss. Boom, slams him to the ground. Great play. Right, let's look at that again. Okay, all right, locked up here. Kamara's going to come out here and try to chip on him. Okay, and I guess maybe try to get to the second level, maybe to try to block a Karake. I didn't see exactly what he did, but as he runs here, he looks like he gets a little chip block on him. Let's see if I can stop it in time. Boom. Yeah. Okay. So here, here you got one-on-one here. But obviously, thank goodness, right? He could have, right? So if you have him getting to the second level, right? Him getting right. If the Rattle man decides to come out over here, right? So thank goodness he keeps running this way. But look, he defended him off with one arm, right? Kamara's going to come in here and do a little chip block on him, right? He's going to bump him, right? He hits him, but still doesn't. This must be Dexter here, because Dexter's leveling some freaking dude here. But Alexander beats both these guys, comes in the backfield and throws him down. This must be Dexter. Look, he's just annihilating some dude. Yeah, it's Dexter. Yeah, yep. Let's look at that again. Okay. Here's Dexter. So that's Alexander. Here's Dexter. They got one guy. This is why they got a double team. Sexy. This is just a joke, freaking joke. This just goes to show you how great Sexy is. One guy on him. Okay, Penning. He's a tough dude, right? Right. He's got him. He's pushing him back, and by this period in time, Penning's like, "Oh my God, I'm not holding up against this guy." And he just, look. He just gets on top of him. It's just unbelievable how strong Sexy is. Look at this. Boom. Just bam. And Penning's a big guard too. And Sexy was dealing with an illness, okay? But it just goes to show you how it's just unbelievable with one guy. That just goes to show you why they have to double team the dude. Is that the last one? Okay, that was the last one. Okay. It's challenging to find anything positive about the Giants team, considering how poorly they've looked on the table. As a lover of watching tape and enjoyer of stellar line play, seeing Alexander starting to emerge as a franchise foundation piece is beyond exciting. Yes, it is. During the pre-draft process, I projected Alexander could be a Chris Jones-type player. He still has a long way to go, but the flashes are absolutely there now that his role is increasing. Let's see now. Let me stop sharing. Let me go here. Let me share my screen one more time there. Share the screen and show you down. Okay, here we go. Now, he the first game, he didn't play. Didn't play at all. Didn't get a uniform. And you talk to the guy, when you talk to the Godfather, Andre Patterson, he's going to, Patterson will get the best out of him. Okay. He said, he's not there yet. He's not ready, but he's seeing improvement in him. Right. And you'll notice here, okay, these last 4 games here, okay, you'll notice, the first game at Dallas, okay, let me get it, right? First game at Dallas, he played 15, week 2, 15 snaps, okay. And then against Kansas City, guys. So it looks like each week, it's tough to say they're inching him up because he went from 15 to 23 to 25 to 27 snaps, right? But you can see, right? He must have a bad. He didn't miss a tackle. He hasn't missed a tackle all year. Okay, he has 3 tackles, 1 assisted tackle. He has a grand total of 5 pressures. So you look at here, pass rush, 62 passes. Okay, so you figure like in a normal game, that they might throw the ball maybe 40 times, maybe at the most, right? So, but he has 5. So that would give him in a game from his defensive. Now, also to be fair, okay, we're not talking about Sexy here, right? Darius Alexander is going to a lot of times get one-on-one attention, okay? But just saying at that rate, he would get about 3 pressures a game, one-on-one now. But he's just the baby. He's just learning, right? Hopefully, if he gets stronger, he starts working at his craft and all this stuff and everything, right? Starts getting a little bit better. I'm not saying he's here and he's going to be Hall of Fame in 5 years. I'm not saying that, right? He's going, hopefully he can keep getting better and better and better, right? Because let's not forget, right? Sexy's not getting any younger, okay? Somewhere along the line, Sexy's going to start, leveling off and start getting, it's going to happen. Sexy's not going to be here in 10 years from now. I got news for you, right? So it's such a shame that we have like Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence, guys like that, some of the best players at their position the Giants have ever had. And I said, just for me. That's all I'm saying. So you got Roosevelt Brown, the tackle, and Andrew Thomas. Right, Roosevelt Brown might be 1. Andrew Thomas is number 2. You got Arnie Weinmeister, right? Although he wasn't a nose tackle, okay? Right, so somebody right over the center, right? Probably Sexy's probably the best ever. Because we had Burt, we had Howard, we had other guys, but nobody's a Sexy Dexy. Absolutely not. But as far as interior defensive lineman, I got Arnie Weinmeister. To me, is the best. Right? He played from 50 to 53 for the Giants, 4 seasons. And he's in the Hall of Fame, right? But I have to give him number 1. But Sexy's probably right underneath him. I said, but we have like 2 of the best guys at their position the Giants have ever had in 101 years, and we're basically throwing their careers away. We're just playing trash football, trash, and we're just wasting their talents. It's a shame, it really is a shame. But you see here, right? Against Kansas City, he graded a 53, but it's 62. But yesterday against the Saints, they have a good offensive line, okay? Graded out of 68. Run defense, 63.5. Tackling, 67.4. His pass rush, 65.5. He had 2 total pressures, right? Pass rush, he only rushed 19 times, and he had 2 pressures. So, if anything that's it's nice to take the good obviously with the bad. Now of course the one thing is unfortunately is especially if this winds up being a lost season, which it certainly looks like it could possibly be a lost season, right? All you can do is just try to enjoy it the best you can, but some of it is just try to look at the positive sides of it, right? Like hopefully we have our quarterback of the future. Okay. We got Scatterbill. Right. I just imagine if we can ever get some offensive linemen that can open up some holes for him, what he could do. Right. It's not his fault he's getting hit in the backfield every play. I'm saying with somebody like Darius Alexander, Abdul Carter, right? It's a good draft. Good draft last year. Seemed like a good draft. We got Phillips. Hopefully we bring Flott back. Right? So, we got some nice pieces in there. Right? So a lot of it is, as I said, when the season seems like it's over, which it might be, try to look at some of our draft picks and then try to enjoy them. And try to, hopefully we have a brighter future with some of these guys here. Like I said, like Darius Alexander. Because even Shane Bowen was talking about it too. He said one of the best things possibly to light a fire underneath somebody's rear end is don't give him a uniform. The team's out there playing. He got drafted in the 3rd round, then he's not playing. It's like, not light a fire underneath it. But you can see like these little glimpses, right? He's not a bad player. Not a bad player. All right, guys, been 1 hour and almost 30 minutes. Whoever spent Drew Giant Goofballs, thank you, buddy. Thank you for talking to me, man. I greatly appreciate it. So whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay of this once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah. Thank you.